Louise here from the Property Education Company, and welcome again this week to our Flash Friday Finance Update, which is coming to you, I would love to say live from Paris, but I'm not there, as you can imagine. But the wonderful Ben Ashcroft-Dinning is. Welcome, Ben.
Hi, Louise. Thanks for having me. Great to see you.
Great to see you too. Ben has been a client of mine for over 10 years, and he's been investing in property in Australia for that period of time. But you've now made a big move. So tell us first up, Ben, about your property experience and what do you love about property and investing?
Good question, Louise. Yeah, look, I've been in property for at least 15 years now. We bought our first home in 07 or 08. I think it was a GFC. And I've basically had the property bug ever since. We've bought 7 properties along the way, bought and sold some, flipped a few, held on to a few in Australia. And basically, yeah, I love property. I love renovations, love interior design.
I think you were mentioning you did Bernadette Jansen's course at some point too.
I did Bernadette's course. Oh, what year would that have been? I would say a good 5 or 6 years ago. And I've done some good renovations since then, actually. So credit to Bernadette. I really enjoyed that course.
That's good. Yeah, we love Bernadette and her team. They're great.
We do. I get all I'm still on the newsletter because even though I'm not in Australia anymore, I still to just see what everyone's up to in the industry and trends and all that sort of thing. But yeah, property is an obsession of mine.
No, I love talking about people who are also property obsessed. But tell us now, you've made this big move to France with your family. What made you want to do that? Because you've got 2 little kids and it's a big job.
Yeah, no, look, honestly, it was a big move, stressful at times. My husband and I moved with our then 4-year-old twins to Paris. It was the timing ended up being right in the middle of COVID. It wasn't obviously planned that way. We've been planning it for many months before we even knew about COVID, and then that hit. And anyway, long story, we made it here in 2020. I've always had a love affair with France. I started coming here when I was 14, and I've always had a connection to this place. I spoke French from a young age. Like I learned French in school. And really at the time, we just wanted, personally, it wasn't so much career driven. It was more just we were ready for a personal change, a new adventure. I have family in Italy. My partner's got family in the UK. And so we knew we wanted to be in Europe. We just couldn't quite decide where. And then with me speaking French, I wanted the kids to learn French as well. And we said, let's just go and live in Paris and see how it goes. And we're still here. And we're actually moving from Paris in 2 weeks to the south of France, to Aix-en-Provence. Which has got beautiful weather. It's a beautiful place, close to the beaches, wonderful architecture. And it actually will bring back some of the things that we miss about Australia. So we're hoping to get a bit of the best of both worlds by going to the south of France.
Oh, that sounds too romantically amazing, actually. But anyway.
Yeah.
But now you've created this new business, which is helping other people do the same thing, or at least have a bolt hole in Europe. Can you tell us a bit more about that now? Should I flick to our slides and show people?
Yeah, you can pop the slides on if you like.
Cool.
So basically what I was able to do when I got here, because I've been coming to Europe for so long, I've got a really good address book of contacts over here, because I've actually been coming to France for 30 years now, believe it or not. And so I put together all of my passions into one enterprise, and that is property, interior design, and being in France. And so I created the brand Milieu Property. And essentially, I act as a buyer's agent and interior designer for international clients who are looking to buy property over here in France.
Oh, fantastic.
So we do everything from all the market research. I visit the properties for them, do all our due diligence for our clients, make sure that there's no sort of hidden defects in any of the properties. I'll visit as many properties as it takes till we find the right one. And essentially, I act as your eyes and ears for someone who's not based in France. I represent you through the entire process. including to the point of providing a mortgage broker if they need one, but you handle that, Louise. So in this case, you would do the mortgage.
If they can use Australian property.
Well, that's right. In your case, if we can get you to do the mortgages for our Australian clients, that would be great, because right now the French banks are being really tricky. But I have been able to get finance for clients, but it's not easy.
We know that problem. It's not easy here either anymore.
Yeah. The climate everywhere is challenging. The good thing about, just on mortgages really quickly, the good thing is that our rates over here in France are a lot lower. They're just below 4%. So when you can get it done, when you can get finance over here, it's a good outcome for our clients. And I have been able to get finance recently, even though it's a struggle, but we can do it.
I've just wondered about the structure people need to have in place to get a loan in France. Do you have to be a permanent resident? What's the criteria there?
No, they don't require you to be a permanent resident. The French government encourages foreign investment. So they are literally open to Americans, British, Australians. That's my main clientele, but any kind of international clients are welcome. But the banks themselves make you meet very stringent requirements. So they, in many cases, ask for a large deposit. They want very high serviceability. Basically, the way I would sum it up is that in Australia and the US, for example, you pay higher rates, but they'll lend to more people a bit more easily. Whereas over here, the rates are lower, but they will lend to a much smaller pool of people, because over here, banks do not want to be saddled with a property where the person just can't afford to pay their mortgage, and banks just don't want to deal with that. They don't want to have to sell them to recoup their funds. So their tolerance for risk is really low.
Okay. Now, it's pretty low here too, but we don't have much arrears, so it's never really been an issue. Yeah. Tell me, so what sort of legal do people have to buy? Can they buy in their own name? And are there any issues with that and what are the implications for that? And can you collect rent okay? And does that help you pay your mortgage, or what's the go, Ben? What do you see?
Good questions. So part of our service is that we provide a notaire, which is basically the French word for saying for a French property lawyer. So they can handle all questions in regards to what structure should we put the investment in. And all of those, everything you just listed there is available to us. Some people can put it in their personal name, in joint names if it's a couple. Quite a popular structure is to buy in a company. It's called an SCI, and that is a company type that is especially designed for purchasing property. And you can then have shareholders underneath that FCI and divide it up how you like. So you could have a family doing that. It could be 4 of you. It could be 3. It could be whatever. So it's quite flexible. And I don't personally, because that's financial advice, I don't offer that advice. But like with every step of the way, I put you in touch with the professionals that you need to get that advice. Your Property, my brand, is essentially the intermediary between Australian, American, English clients or English speakers in general and the professional French team that they need to execute a purchase over here, whether it's the lawyer, the broker, or the financial planning.
Awesome. Oh, now that's really important because it's a mystery and everyone dreams of it, I think, at some point, but how you actually go about it or what are some of the rules. And that company idea sounds really exciting because many families might want to share and buy something together. And that's that could be an awesome way to organise it without too much grief.
It's good, and it's good because the other great thing, just quickly on that, without getting into the weeds too much, a lot of people do that structure because the French inheritance laws are really unusual and cumbersome, and the French state can force you to leave your assets in your estate in a way that you may not have chosen to personally do so if it's in your personal name, and the company structure avoids that.
Another good tip. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. What sort of places are people looking for?
Look, a bit of everything. Actually, do you mind if just because of this slide that we've got on, do you mind if I run you through our different packages?
Yeah, please do. Go right ahead.
Yeah, because basically what I've found, we've only been operating for 12 months, but it's just really taken off. And I've noticed, obviously, not everyone needs the same level of service. So I've created 3 different packages, which most people fit into one of these 3. And then occasionally there's going to be clients that we might need to do something a little bit more bespoke for them, and we can do that. But in a nutshell, our full service package is where we take care of literally everything. We do all the market research, we visit the properties, do all the due diligence for you, make offers, negotiate, we're your eyes and ears on the ground. We get you your finance, your lawyer, your company structure, whatever you might need. And then at the end, we can also do the renovations, because that is my background, interior design. So I can put you in touch with architects, builders, everything. Fantastic. So that's the full service package. Then we developed the purchase only package, because I noticed that people were coming to me saying, I don't really need all that extra stuff, but because I've already found this amazing property, I know I want to buy it, but now what do I do? Like, I don't know how to buy a house in France. I don't live here, but I know I want that. It's perfect for me. So we can just step in there and take over. So don't have to do a whole lot of market research and visit 20 properties for them. They've already found their property. So we just step in, provide the finance, provide the lawyer. I ensure everyone's working together for a smooth purchase. And then again, at the end, I can do the renovations and interior design if needed. So that's really entry-level package.
Fabulous.
Then I noticed that there were quite a lot of people that needed something in between. So the most recent package that we developed is called the shared research package. And it's for people who are in between the two. They've been doing lots of online research, and I encourage that. It's really fun going through the listings in France. There's so many good ones. But so a lot of people like to do the online research themselves, but they've narrowed it down to say 3 or 4 properties, and they think, now what do? I can't go and visit them myself. How am I going to choose? Are they better in the photos? I don't know what the town is like that it's in, but I need someone to now take over for me.
Cool.
So that's the shared research package, where you provide us with up to 3 or 4 properties, and then I step in and take over. So I'll visit them for you, do the due diligence, make recommendations on what we should offer. I'll negotiate on your behalf, and then everything else, like I said, in the full service as well. So the mortgage, the notaire, the architects, etc. So those are the packages that we offer.
Good to hear. Fantastic. And I'm sure there'll be people who exactly want to take. But let's have a look at some of the things you've been looking at. So explain some of these gorgeous places.
These are just, I grabbed these from my social media. So I would encourage anyone to go and visit us, Milieu Property, on Instagram mainly, but we're on Facebook, TikTok, everywhere. And through my time here, I've developed good relationships with a lot of agents around the country, and I get no commissions from any of these agents. That's important to mention, because over here, the common practice is that they do. And I'm one of the only ones operating on the buyer's agent side. I do not take any commissions from these agents. So when I publish these listings that you're seeing here onto my social media, that's just like a fun thing I do to increase traffic and to show people what's available. But these are not our listings where we earn any commission. These are just examples that I like to show people of what you can get in France. So there's a chateau on the left, just for under 700,000. It's in a wonderful part of the country.
So how much would that be in Aussie dollars if you're looking? That's euros.
That is probably just over 1 million.
Oh, okay.
It's not much. And that's mostly renovated.
Wow.
It's so honestly, like, you will find I've got quite a few more listings I can show you, but I honestly think, like, speaking as an Australian with a couple of properties over there, one in Melbourne and one in South Australia, your money here goes so much further than it does over there. Like, the money that you would spend on a little apartment in Melbourne or Sydney, you can literally buy a chateau over here, and sometimes a renovated chateau.
Wow.
If you go to the next slide, I'll show you some of the listings that I've got for my current clients. Like, these are properties that we are right now trying to buy. So this is a really good one. I got a lovely American lady who's a client, and it has been her lifelong dream to buy a chateau and renovate a chateau.
Lord.
This is in the Loire Valley, which is the home of chateaus in France. And the asking price is 490,000. Like, it needs a lot of work. So we went there with a specialist architect who specializes in chateaus, and we gave it a thorough inspection. It took us about 3 hours, and they have actually come back with quotes on how much it will cost to renovate. But we're looking at putting in some offers this week on this chateau in the low 400s. So that goes to show the entry of getting into something like this is very affordable.
It's amazing. And what sort of estimate would you have on a renovation though? I hate to think.
Okay, so I can give you an estimation on this. So this is after one visit with a specialist architect. He says 2 to 2.5 million for the chateau, and then another 500,000 on doing the gardens.
Wow.
So it's a decent amount of money. This client has investors behind her because her project is to run events, weddings, like little boutique hotel type of thing, accommodation. So this is really a business transaction for her. The asking price or the purchase price is ultimately a small part of the overall value of what she will spend. But her plan is for this to be generating up to €1 million per year in revenue. So she's really looking at this as a pure business transaction.
That's amazing. To bring in American clients for it? Was that the aim?
That is her aim. Yeah, she obviously will be open to everyone, and especially the local French market, but she has she has an amazing address book. She wants to get Beyonce and Jay-Z staying here. Like, she's next level, this client. She's amazing.
I'll tell you, even the clouds in that picture look insane, don't they? They don't look real. That can't be true. You photoshopped it, have you?
Not even. The real estate agent might have. I'll be honest. I can't vouch for that. But I've been to the chateau. It's impressive. It's really impressive.
It's very beautiful. Okay, let's have a look. What's next? This is beautiful.
This is really nice. This is a maison de maître, which is, I guess, like a homestead. It's got 9 or 10 bedrooms. It's got outbuildings. It's fully renovated. I've only shown 3 photos here, but honestly, I could have put 20 photos of this beautiful home. It is ready to move into. It's under €1 million. And again, these guys want to do like a B&B business out of here. They'll have their own quarters, and they'll have up to 10 bedrooms available as a boutique hotel with the pool. And again, this is a revenue opportunity for these guys. They're in their late 50s. They've had enough of their normal kind of full-time work, and they want to come here, settle down in France, and run a little business out of this property. And again, so everything I'm showing you here is under €1 million, which for what you're getting there in terms of value is quite incredible.
Yeah, that is absolutely magnificent. And what a lifestyle. So when next you'll have a website with all your clients' properties on them to promote them. I think you're going to have all these hotels and places where all of us Aussies can come and stay. That'll be next.
Exactly.
I love that idea. Wow.
And I just thought I'd put one other one up. This is completely different because we have clients that just want to buy a little pied-à-terre in Paris, just a little one-bedder. This is tiny, but it's super cute. It's not far from where I live, actually, in the 12th. And the asking price for this one is $315,000. So this is just for an American guy who he just wants to use this as a pad for when he works in Europe. He's based in the States. He comes to Europe so often, and Paris is very central. It connects to everywhere by train or obviously flight, but you can actually go to all the capital cities by train from here. So he just needed something in Europe, just a little one better. And when he's not staying here, he's going to put it on Airbnb. And these little one-bedroom apartments, they have such good Airbnb potential. This honestly won't even cost him anything to run. Like the Airbnb revenue will pay off any mortgage fees.
That's fabulous. Looking at the price, it's under 500,000 Australian dollars in effect.
Exactly. And that's full asking. And look, the market here is plateauing at best. So no one's paying full asking right now. So we're looking at offers of high 2s, perhaps nudging 3 for this at the most.
I was looking myself at a Sydney apartment that was only 28 squares in a good building, but it was not renovated. It was full of mold. It was disgusting. And they were asking 400 and it went for over 515,000. And I just went, no.
That doesn't surprise me. Yeah.
And here it is I could be in Paris instead. So I'm thinking I'll have to look further afield. I think you might have another job for But what a fabulous looking place. And is that a walk up or does it have lifts? So
okay, so this is the other thing. This is top floor with elevator.
Oh, because I was just thinking that could be really good for my legs, but maybe
Yeah, no, you'll want the elevator for this one. It's a long way up.
Yeah.
It's level 6.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it looked. Oh,
I
no.
love top floor because, and that's where I live too, level 6. It's the light is just, it changes everything when you're high up. The light that you get into the apartment is wonderful.
Because I love that about Paris. They don't have those enormous big buildings like we do have. So it's
No, the height, there's pretty much height limit everywhere. The
Mm.
most you're going to get normally is around 6 to 7 floors.
Mm.
Occasionally, there's a few modern buildings around the place where they've gone up to 14, 15, but they are few and far between. That the photo that you see there in the middle, that is like the standard Paris apartment building. It's Haussmannian. That's the name of the architect, Haussmann. And the majority of the apartments that were built in the early 1900s and 1800s are in this style.
Yeah, they're lovely, beautiful. And I love the windows. Wow, Bordeaux. Give us some.
So these are just some example listings that I thought I'd just show your viewers and listeners, just things that I've found that sort of I've put in my favorites for future clients, and just to show you how far your money goes. Because I'm getting a lot of inquiries right now for Bordeaux. It's a really wonderful city. A lot of people, French people, call it the next Paris.
Right.
Because it's not as expensive. The weather is nicer down there. Your money goes a bit further. And so a beautiful like family 3-bedroom apartment there, you're looking at just under 600,000. And as you can see, it's a beautiful renovation. That's a lovely modern 3-bedroom apartment there. So only 600,000. It's not that bad. And that is probably the 3rd or 4th biggest city in France. 2 hours train travel to Paris, so great connections, and it's close to beaches. A lot of people are moving south, and especially to Bordeaux.
Wow. Okay, good to know. Let's have a look. Oh my goodness.
So La Dordogne, I don't know whether you know that, Louise, but it's probably one of my favorite parts of France, and a lot of English clients want properties there. It's actually not far from Bordeaux, probably an hour and a half. Bordeaux would be the biggest main city close by, but just geographically, this area is one of the nicest parts of France. It's rolling hills, it's green. There are some villages in La Dordogne that are just like fairy tales. Like it's quite a magical place. And so here again, it's 6-bedroom homestead, 650,000 asking price. But this has been on the market for months. You could easily get this for something starting with a 5. It's quite good value, fully renovated, as a nice country holiday home, if that's the kind of thing you want, like a countryside setting.
So for foreigners moving there, what's the healthcare system like, and how do people manage or navigating all of that sort of thing, Ben?
Yeah, good question. So I'm not an immigration agent, obviously. That's a whole nother skill set, but I've got a really good person that I work with on everything to do with visas, because most of my clients need some kind of visa. And what I can tell you is the French medical system, as a resident, I can guarantee you the French medical system is really good. Basically, everything's free. It's as if everything was on Medicare. There are things that you can pay for, but it's almost Medicare on steroids. Like it's almost everything is paid for, the dentist, like you name it, it's all part of the standard state healthcare. And people moving here, say to retire or to relocate, do have access to that after 12 months.
Oh, that's amazing. Fantastic.
Yeah, it's good. You need to insure yourself for your first 12 months. And then after that, you can go onto the French system legally.
Wow, that's nothing. I think it's much harder here, actually. But anyway.
Probably. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, Ben.
So just wanted to put another little atypical 1700s home. This isn't designed by a well-known architect, redesigned in 2000. It's 4 bedrooms, pool, 635,000. Again, in La Dordogne, a beautiful countryside environment. And this actually was an outbuilding for a chateau that's nearby.
Oh my goodness.
Just something completely different, because I have got some people looking for a tiny little beachside apartment in Menton.
I know Menton, I've been there.
Yes, it's so cute. It's right on the border of Italy, so you can zip over for lunch. Literally, if you feel like pizza, we went there on holidays last year, and it's I feel like pizza for lunch. Let's just hop in the car, and like literally 20 minutes away, you're over the border, and you're eating lovely Italian food.
Beautiful.
So you can grab a little studio apartment here for 159,000 on the beachfront. Beautiful old building. It's small. It's like 25 square meters. But for a lot of people, that's all they need. Like, they can spend the summer there, they can rent it out when they're not there. Great value on Airbnb, and you could pay cash for that, depending on if you've had properties in Australia that increase in value, you can withdraw or draw down, whatever. Like, the asking prices are so low for these properties that, yeah, it's a good entry level property for someone wanting a beachside property.
Awesome. And what are the rates and the property taxes and the body corporate fees or owners corporation fees? What are they like over there?
Depends on what you've got in the building. So if you've got lifts, which you do in some, it's probably half and half have a lift and half don't. A lot of them on the beach down there in the south have swimming pools. You're looking at a couple of $1,000 a year.
No, is that all?
Not bad. Yeah, it's not much.
Cheap.
Yeah.
Oh, and they keep their buildings reasonably well, or you have to spend more on maintenance? No.
Every probably 10, the equivalent of the owners corporation, they have their meetings, and the owners do need to fork out every sort of 10 or so years they might 1 year want to clean the facade, or they need to repair the interior stairs in the common areas, those sort of things. So that is the responsibility of collectively of the owners within that building.
Totally get it. Oh,
this one's a little too better in Nice. I love Nice. It's got a reputation for just lots of old people there, but that is not true. Like, French people don't see Nice that way. Nice is a very well connected town on the French Riviera, obviously, in the southeast. It's got train links to Paris. The international airport goes everywhere. It's surprisingly vibrant. Yes, there are retirees, but there are everywhere where it's sunny. But it is a really vibrant, happening place. And so I popped a little two-bedder in there. Asking price $439,000. So you're close to the beach, swimming pool, really nice lifestyle there.
It wouldn't be bad, would it, to go every winter and spend it in Nice? I'm going to my apartment in Nice. Yeah, I could imagine them saying that, actually.
You could do a lot worse.
Yeah, I'll say that's a lifestyle choice. That would be awesome. Oh, and what's this here in Paris? Back again?
Yeah, this is the last one. I thought I'll just include, this is something you can get for just under 1 million. So like I might have mentioned at the start, Paris is really the only part of France where the real estate is still quite expensive. I think of it as being comparable to Melbourne or Sydney. So this is in terms of cost per square meter, it's probably even higher, but just everything over here is small.
Okay.
So for around €1 million, you can get a 2-bedroom apartment. And this is in one of the most posh parts of Paris. So I've chosen a posh arrondissement, which is like a mini suburb. And I chose something with a terrace. So that goes to show you can get a really nice apartment in a really nice part of Paris for under €1 million. And then if you don't need the terrace, or you don't need to live somewhere quite as fancy, obviously we can bring the budget down to the 700s and 800s. But just to show that you can really get luxury for under €1 million in Paris.
When you're renovating, 2 questions I've got is the market there, you say, is coming off a bit at the moment. See, we've got this huge migration pressure in Australia with hundreds of thousands of new migrants welcome, but we've got nowhere for them to live, the poor thing. We're worried about that's pushing house prices up here, but that's not what's happening in Paris or France at all.
No, I have found that we are plateauing right now because of the interest rates, because interest rates are still going up.
Yes.
We're in a time, and I'm not sure whether it's the same in Australia, but we're in a time where everyone is just on pause. Everyone's just waiting to see what's going to happen. Like, I'm sure there's pent-up demand. I'm sure there's people wanting to sell that are just holding off. And I think everyone's just waiting to see whether or not will the interest rates peak and then start to come back down. Will the Ukraine war end? There's just a couple of things that are on hold right now that is causing everyone to just take a breath and wait. So right now we're on pause.
It's a good time to buy.
It's actually
before it starts again.
Before it starts, because honestly, I think Paris, out of everywhere, it's the market that is most like a Melbourne or a Sydney. So when things go back to normal, it's a safe bet. It will definitely start going back up again. That is for sure. So right now in this plateau period, and also it's probably a time when if you didn't have to sell, you wouldn't be. So things that are on the market now that are sitting there a bit longer than usual, there are some good deals to be had if we can get someone at the right moment that needs to sell, get some nice low offers in, and there are some good deals to be had.
Oh, that's awesome. And the other thing about renovating, we have enormous trouble getting tradesmen and builders here. Are you having the same issues over there, or is it relatively easy to get people to help you, particularly in these country areas that you're showing us?
Not going to lie, it's challenging. I don't know what it is about trades, but I think it must be universal. It's universal. Like, it's hard to get them here. I've got some good people that I've worked with.
Yes.
And I've done lots of renovations in Australia as well. I don't think it's any harder here, and I don't think it's any easier, if I'm being 100% honest.
No,
but
I'm really glad you
need.
That's why we need.
That's why you need someone here that knows, because if you were trying to do it all remotely, I don't see how you could vet them and make sure that their work was any good. And at least, even though it's challenging for us, but I'm here, I can see what they've done and vet them in person, so I know the workmanship that they would provide.
That's awesome. And what's your favorite area and why in France?
It's a good question. Okay, I love Paris for the restaurants, the theater, the shopping. We walk everywhere. We don't even have a car in Paris. We cycle. I love that. But we have 2 young kids, 2 dogs. And is it great for families? Honestly, that's why we're moving to the south. And where we've chosen is one of my favorite parts of France. It's Aix-en-Provence. It is close to beaches. The architecture down there is stunning. It is probably one of the most beautiful towns in France. It's a little bit more laid back. The weather is beautiful. There's a lovely expat community, and it's well known for having great international schools. For our purposes, I would say that is one of my favorite areas. And a couple of others. One that I mentioned in the slides was La Dordogne. I just think it's beautiful in terms of when you think of French countryside, it's like that is the postcard image of France is often from La Dordogne.
Okay.
And then also the skiing as well. We love skiing. We go every year. There's a lot of wonderful ski stations here. And my favorite one of them is Courchevel. It is really posh and really fancy and just, it's so nice. So I'd say in terms of the Alps, that would be my favorite town. It's super charming and elegant. I love it.
I just want to be warm because I'm here in Melbourne in winter and it's just freezing. So
I know what it's like.
I only want to hear about the warm areas. Thanks very much. But anyway.
You need to be in the south of France.
Yeah, I think I do, actually. I think you're right. I think that's a given. It's been wonderful to catch up and hear all your news, and I'm really excited about your business. I think it's great, and I'm really looking forward to broadcasting this out to everyone and letting them know of the possibilities, because they reckon there's 12,000, is it? Or 12? Oh, some enormous number of baby boomers retiring every day now for years and years to come. And so I'll bet you there'll be plenty who are looking for just this sort of thing to do and not spend.
It is a great place to retire to. I would say nearly half the people that contact me are people that are looking to retire. They've got properties in their home country. They're well established. Like, they're probably going to keep 1 or 2 properties in, say, the UK or the States. But they want the option to just come to France for a few months a year, 6 months, whatever. They want the flexibility. It's quite affordable for them if you're earning the pound or the US dollar. And it's a great place with wonderful healthcare. The weather's nice in the south. So it's a good option for that age group, but also for families and things like that too. But just since you mentioned retirees, that it is probably one of the most popular segments that approaches me.
Yeah, brilliant. Okay. We will put your contact details in the show notes and across the screen. But thank you, Ben. It's been wonderful to catch up. I know it's relatively early in the morning there and it's evening here, but it's been great. Thank you so much for your time. It's been wonderful.
Thanks, Louise. Great to see you.
Take care.
Bye, everyone. Okay, bye. Thank you. Bye.